Here we are on our fourth and final alternate for the Beyond the Horizon Paper Pumpkin Kit. I'm Jill Blanchette with Green Thumb Stampers, and I'm going to show you this card today. I got this layout from my mom, Sharon Tushek. She had made this and I loved it, so I borrowed her stamp set, and here we are to make it today. So I'm going to take that out of the way. She actually had 4 really cool designs, but I didn't want to swipe them all, so this was hers straight up. I didn't change anything on it, so that was why in the last card I made this little piece from the artfully layered dies using the envelope so that I could use it on this card. Like I said, I didn't want to use up all your pieces from your kit, so I created that other one on my own. So we're going to get started. This card uses just a couple pieces of paper. We've got an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of paper, and gosh, you know what, it's just dawning on me that I might be telling you guys the wrong directions in some of these, telling you this is a 11-inch, but it's not. It's 8.5 by 5.5. So I apologize if I've been telling you the wrong directions all this time. Then I have a Misty Moonlight layer that is 4 by 5.25, and we're going to adhere that down. To the front. And then this card, this particular card is going to use one of these kit cards, and we're going to cut that down to 3 3/4. I'm just going to cut it off from here so I got all this out of the way. And then save these pieces. They're nice white paper that you can use somewhere else. So we're going to cut this down to 3 3/4. So I'm just going to trim a little off each side. And I think I want to come some little more off this side because we're going to stamp along here. So I want to have a little bit more white space to stamp on the words in there. So let's go, then we have 5 1/4, so we need to go by 5. And I'm just, you know, cutting parts of the white off, trying to make it look a little more even, spaced around the edges and such. But you can just whack it off however you so choose. Then the stamping here, we're going to use the Celebrate with Flowers set that I believe, and I didn't look before I started the video, but I believe this one is retiring. But my mom really liked vertical greetings, so she got this one, and that's what we're going to use. We're going to use the vertical happy birthday from this set. And I'm going to use Night of Navy. And let's see, this one, we got quite a bit of white space over here. So we're just going to come along this edge and stamp our happy birthday. Then we can go ahead and glue that to the front. I got cat hair everywhere today, I think, because I just picked up my cat, must be. She was crying and looking for somebody to pick her up and give her some pets. So Guess that was me. All right, so we got the whole base ready. We are going to use one of the green ferns. And again, if you are making the card kit up more the way it was intended, you can create one of these from anything that you have, any kind of a fern. We have a bunch of stamp sets that the dies that have like ferns in them, leaves, big leaves. So you shouldn't really be at a loss for any type of alternate idea for this greenery, or I think it's butterfly or bumblebee, but it's still greenery. All right, so I got that down, and I did move it, so I do have my silly liquid glue everywhere, but my handy dandy little eraser here will take it off when I get to that point. So now you'll have a plain white piece of paper in your little packet, and we're going to use the Misty Moonlight. Ink with the free stamps that came in this kit. Usually in the March kit, as a thank you, they give us a free stamp set, and we got this pretty flower set this time. So I'm going to put that on my block. We're going to ink it up with the Misty Moonlight. Like so, and I do have it on my foam sheet underneath to give the extra cushion that the polymer stamps need. And then I'm going to do the second layer. This is like a two-step stamping set. And then the detailed piece. So if you are doing like a pink flower or something, you can either do two colors of the same ink like I'm doing here. This one will just be darker because of course it's going to be two layers of the ink, or you could do a lighter pink and then do this detail with a darker pink, or yellows or purples, whatever. But I'm going to use my same Misty Moonlight. And you can now see the detail stamp in there. Let me get that out of the way before I end up wearing it. And as it dries, it will switch colors a little bit as it dries into the paper. And then I have my old olive ink that we're going to do some leaves with. So I'm going to put this big one and I'm going to take the smaller one that's in here and I'm going to put it like right next to it. And I'm going to make a set of leaves. And then in the kit is a little tiny set that's already kind of put together like that. We're going to stamp that as well. We need a couple sets of leaves. And then I'm going to come in with my, I'm going to set that aside, my other stamp set, the one that came with the kit, and use this fern that we used on the last card. Let me take these leaves off so I can get the fern. I'll put them on my block over here so I can clean them all at one time. And then we want to do like 3 of these. And we will be fussy cutting all of this out. I won't make you watch. I will pause the video while I fussy cut them all. And then I'm going to use the Bumblebee ink in for the flower centers. Oh, there it is. And they are also on this free set. So I'm gonna make the center part first. And I'm gonna stamp off so it's not quite so dark. And then I want a couple that are darker. And then I'm going to come through with the little dots. And I'm going to say there is kind of a way to line them up. Like so. And actually I'm going to try and darken this one up just a smidge more. I don't want it full strength, but I do want it a little bit darker than that. There we go. And then now I'm going to pause you while I go ahead and start the fussy cutting process. I'm going to cut out all of this stuff. I have everything all cut out now, and so we can assemble it onto the front of the card. And I'm going to start with, well, we already did the fern here, and so I'm going to move on to the big flower. And when I cut them out, I left this flower still connected because it was too close. You could cut another one and then pop it up on top of this one for some extra dimension. That would be cute, but that's not what I did. So I'm going to put some dimensional, a big one in the center here so that I can get that popped up on the front. I'm going to put a little one over here. So I'm going to put that on here about like so. Now you can assemble all your pieces if you want first, and then come back for your, and put it on. You could put everything on there if you wanted first, but I cut out the center, the flower center, a solid one, and it kind of follows the contour. You see that little nubby sticking out there. There's kind of a little nubby on the center as well. And then I'm going to take the big leaves and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of them, and I'm going to put a dimensional, or I put the glue on the front, sorry, and I'm going to just put a dimensional on the back to kind of hold it where I'm going to put it down. And I'm going to, oh, I didn't put it on there quite where I wanted to, so we're going to put these bigger ones. You want to make sure they're going to not stick off the side, and that's where I should have rotated this up a little bit more, but we'll put that down there about right there. Then we've got this little tiny one, and I'm going to tuck that up under here so that it sticks out over the top of this flower. So I'm going to put a little dimensional on this one because it will be the one that's going to stick in. So I'm going to put it under there like so. And then, like I say, this one will stick up. You could put a little bit of glue on there, just a smidge, if you want it to stick down. But I kind of like the dimension. You can go ahead and try and curl them, at least give it a little bit of sticky upness. Then I have this extra flower that will put a I don't see my bigger dimensionals. I'm just going to have to use a little one. I'll put it in the center. And we'll put that one about down in here like so. And then I have a second one of the flower centers, and I just got to take my scissors and try and cut out a little bit of a circle shape, kind of. Nothing. I'm gonna flip it over. Like so. Let's get a glue dot on it. My glue dots are kind of big ones, but let's get a glue dot on it. Fold that over so it's all on the dot, and then just stick that in the center of that flower. And then we can cut another one. In a random circle shape. And what I ended up doing on my sample was I got out my bumblebee marker, and then I made some little dots in the center because they didn't really show up. The lines from the flower center on the stamp didn't really show up on my little tiny ones that I'm making here. I'm going to tuck all those little pieces in so none of them are sticking out to catch on anything else that might be going on around the card. But these that I cut out do have a little bit of the design on them, so I'm going to leave them as being okay. But if you needed to, you could have just made like the lighter dot and then used your Stampin' Right marker to put some dots in the center. So we got that built. Then I have these ferns that I'm just going to put the little dimensionals on the bottom portion. And then I'm going to stick them under the... I got a little overzealous with my scissors there on a couple spots. See if I can round that out to look a little more, not quite so harsh. And then we're just going to stick those under the flower, wherever you want a little greenery sticking out. I was thinking backwards there. I wanted to put that dimensional down toward the bottom, but this one will be okay. Up at the top, we're going to stick it out, and then I'll put this one toward the bottom. Give the fern a little bit of a chance to kind of stick out a little bit. Try and weave it under that one. And there we go. There, I will go back with my little eraser now that this has dried while I was cutting, and do my best to ball up that glue that once it dries and it's sticky, it will come off with one of these erasers. If you don't have one of these, I know they have them at the craft stores. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell them anymore. If you're going to go to any craft, I'm going to say like shows, like the expos in Novi, the Great Lakes Mega Meet, I believe it's called, in Novi. There'll be a lot of vendors there that are selling things like this, all the little odd supplies and things like that. So you could pick one up there. They're not expensive. They're just a couple dollars, if that. But now I got my sticky off, and we are all done. There you go. This concludes the March Paper Pumpkin Kit Beyond the Horizon.